Hello and welcome to this video, where today we're going to be visiting and analyzing the chapel of Notre Dame du Haut by Le Corbusier in France. The chapel is located at the top of the Bourg-le-Mont hill, comfortably looking over the small city of Ronchamp. This spot has always been a place of worship, and several temples existed here before Le Corbusier's. The last one prior was destroyed during World War II, and many of the stones from the fallen structure were actually used to build a new church that Le Corbusier designed in 1950. Today the site has become a landmark destination and has additional interventions by Jean Prouvé or Renzo Piano. But in this video, we're going to be focusing on Le Corbusier's chapel. Just by looking at it, we can probably all agree that this building looks nothing like a traditional church. It doesn't follow the preconceived idea of what a Catholic church should look like. The floor plan doesn't look like a cross. There are no easily distinctive naves or aisles, no transept, no apse. This raised a lot of questions during the design phase, and even though it's not entirely clear why, luckily the church decided to go along with it and approve the design. They probably didn't think that a small chapel on the top of a hill in a small town in France would be noticed by many. Had they known the impact that this building would have, they might have thought twice before approving the design. But anyway, they did, and that's great for all of us architecture lovers, right? So Le Corbusier was an architect, but he was also an artist. During his career, he shifted between these two personas very often. That is very clear in his designs. On one hand, he designed these super rational buildings such as the Citroën House or the Swiss Pavilion or even the collection of habitational units. And on the other hand, he also came up with the most organic designs, such as the one for the Philips Pavilion or Chandigarh in India. Show these buildings to someone unfamiliar with Le Corbusier and they'll probably never guess that they were designed by the same architect. Notre Dame du Haut is considered by many as his deepest exploration of his artistic side applied to architecture. It took 5 years to complete the building, and it's said that Le Corbusier always stayed close to the site during those years so that he could follow the progress and work with the builders to solve any unforeseen problems and achieve his vision. Just like any artist would always want to be involved in his piece every step of the way. In this building, Le Corbusier aimed to create a space where materials could be shown in their purest form, with no ornaments or additions of any kind. This treatment gives the volumes an almost abstract feel that contributes to create a space truly capable of making you feel things. If you look at an image of Notre Dame without people or other objects around as a reference, it is actually quite hard to grasp the overall scale of it. The dark curved volume of the roof seems to be placed on top of the white walls, almost as those abstract wooden blocks that kids play with. There is a famous quote by Le Corbusier in which he said, "Architecture is the learned game, correct and magnificent, of forms assembled in the light." Well, this might not have been wooden blocks, but these volumes were his own kind of blocks, and he was having fun. Light is another crucial aspect of his design. The south facade is sprinkled with windows that cut through the thick wall in a trapezoidal form, which allowed Le Corbusier not only to bring in light, but to do so in a very intentional way, bending it at his will. Combined with the colors used for the tinted glass, many consider this wall to be a work of art by itself. The windows are again all different in shape and size, as to not give the viewer any hint of the actual scale of the building. And there is still one more trick Le Corbusier used to create that feeling of surprise and spirituality. It is as if he was playing games with the viewer, because first he shows you this massive roof, which from the ground level actually looks like a massive block of solid concrete. And when you're there looking at it, you think, whoa, that thing has to weigh so much? Why doesn't it collapse already? But then you keep looking and you find those also massive walls supporting it. And you think, well, okay, it's a massive roof, but it also has massive walls, so that makes sense. It's still impressive, but at least it makes sense. But then you go into the building and find out that the roof doesn't actually touch the walls. There's a 20 centimeter gap between them, making the roof seem as if it was levitating. This separation is very hard to see from the outside, because the shadow created by the roof itself covers it. But once on the inside, light comes through it and it becomes obvious that the ceiling doesn't touch the walls. At that point you think, now I'm under this massive block of concrete which does not even touch the walls. Because if you have some training in architecture, you might immediately understand the trick that Le Corbusier was playing here. But if you don't, then the solution might not be so obvious, and you might find yourself thinking that you're actually seeing a miracle with your own eyes, which is exactly what Le Corbusier was after. There's a third element which is important to Le Corbusier's design, although it is not always present: water. The entire roof is designed to collect rainwater and channel it to a single expulsion point on the west facade. Here, a double gargoyle made of concrete separates the river of water flowing from the roof, making it drop right into a fountain consisting of a concrete enclosure with pure volumetric figures inside of it. Le Corbusier didn't need many materials to bring his idea to life, and he used a lot of what was left on the hill from the previous destroyed structures. The walls are made up of bricks covered with up to 5 centimeters of mortar, which was then painted white both on the interior and the exterior. The roof, on the other hand, started out from a complex formwork on which steel bars and a mesh were laid so that concrete could be then applied from the inside. The roof might look like a solid block of concrete from the ground, but it is actually a much lighter shell. Inside, the walls are still white and the roof still concrete. And the only new material is wood, which he used for the floor of the sitting areas and the benches, of course. Each person's experience is unique, but generally speaking, the feeling once you walk into the chapel is that it is quite small. From the outside, the abstract shapes and out-of-scale windows make the chapel look more like a sculpture rather than a building, and therefore making it hard to understand how big or small it might be. You won't see like rows of windows to show you how many floors there are, or find any other familiar element that might reveal the size of the building, which is roughly 30 by 20 meters. The floor plan is organized as an open space with the walls folding onto themselves to create 3 more private spaces for the 3 smaller chapels, all of which receive light from above through the skylights located at the top of the 3 towers. The only fully separated room is a small area next to the main altar reserved for the priest, and 2 other rooms located right above it, which are only accessible through the outdoor stairs found on the north facade. Because the interior spaces are relatively small, the chapel also has a second altar outside, on the east facade, facing an open field that is 30 by 50 meters, where special services can take place with hundreds of attendants. Some have described Notre Dame du Haut as the first postmodernist building, but the truth is, it probably would need a style of its own to be categorized. This is one of those buildings that really made a mark. There is a before and after Notre Dame du Haut. The building is special and unique for many reasons, some of which we've just seen over the past few minutes. But we would love to hear your thoughts and opinions about it. So leave us a comment telling us what you like about it and what you don't and why. And let's engage in a bit of a healthy debate. Also, if you have any questions about this building which were not covered on the video, drop us a comment letting us know, and we will try our best to get you the answers that you're looking for. See you in the next video. Bye!